Hey City Church, this is Erik, and today I want to introduce to you what we'll be doing with the drink portion of the takeaway during season 2. In our inaugural season, we featured people from City Church making actual drinks. They were offering their practical tips on mixology and maybe why they liked a particular drink. This second season, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to feature spiritual life hacks. We're going to show how folks from City Church are pursuing habits in line with this season's theme around reading the Word, resting in worship, and reconnecting with friends and family. You could think about each of these drink portions as like a mini TED Talk or a TED Talk light. The people you'll see over the next 10 weeks are less content area experts filled with theoretical knowledge. They're more practitioners offering everyday suggestions of how we can practically start a new habit or fine-tune an old one or reimagine a habit for our lives. Think of them as City Church's answer to the YouTube life hack videos, showing you a novel way to peel the paper from a clove of garlic, or showing you how you can clean your car headlights with a can of Coke. A couple of years ago, I preached a sermon series that was focused on habits, and I read some of the literature around habits in order to prepare for that series. One of the consistent lessons that I learned in that literature was that if you want to form a new habit, put yourself around a community of people with that habit. The idea here is that habits are contagious. We're hoping that these takeaway videos work like that, as we learn how to anchor ourselves in a community with good spiritual habits. Another thing that you may want to keep in mind around these habits is that there's a principle called habit stacking. In other words, if you want to begin a new habit, stack that habit on already existing habit. So a clear example here would be reading the Word of God. If that's one habit that you want to integrate into your life, stack it on top of something you already do, like drinking your morning coffee each morning. When I think about simple life hacks, I think of something that my wife Sarah came up with. We wanted our kids to eat healthier snack food, and rather than just reaching for a bag of chips or a cookie or candy when they were hungry, we wanted them to maybe occasionally mix in a fruit or a vegetable. So what Sarah did was she started slicing an apple and leaving that apple already sliced out on the counter, so that when our kids walked through the kitchen, either hungry or bored, they would grab a slice of apple. There are all sorts of these simple life hacks that can change our habits, and that's what we want to offer through the takeaway. It's kind of like a spiritual life hack that I mentioned in my sermon a few weeks ago. Bible before phone. What would it look like if, rather than beginning our day scrolling through our news feeds or our social media feeds, we began each day by scrolling through the story of God's love for us? Maybe the best thing I've learned in the habit literature, especially around spiritual habits, is the idea of not being afraid to start over. Whether it's reading the Bible or resting in worship on the Sabbath or reconnecting with friends and family, don't let perfection become the enemy of the good. If you haven't read a chapter of the Bible in a week or a month or a year or a decade, it's okay. Start over. You can start over today. The best spiritual life hacks are super obvious. They're hiding in plain sight, but once they've been pointed out, they become obvious, apparent to us, and we want to implement them in our lives. We're hoping that what you'll see on the takeaway during this drink portion this season will be like that. Some super obvious life hacks, not from experts, but from friends. Things that you can begin to incorporate into your life as well. We hope you enjoy.